forward to taking this journey with you through these interviews.
An average person looking at it, so what? You know, it's just a piece of metal. And if you reduce it to that level, that is all it is. But now you bring the document, which we believe is a document given by God, which explains for us the one, God himself coming into time to take our form, to pay for our sins, to do an act, and that it was history. And then now these things are related to that.
Yeah.
It becomes something far more exciting where some people, as a matter of faith, even would consider it a relic, you know, and venerate it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't, but I mean, their faith and emotions drive them to see that as something of that importance.
Yeah.
So again, it's what you bring to it when you come.
And you have a PhD in Near East Studies from the University of Texas, a secular university, and you now teach at a Christian university. And there's, what do you feel like the trends are for university students in general, especially those who maybe were born in Christian families, but maybe have, the university experience starts to alter their view? What are you observing?
Yeah, it's very different in every generation. I mean, we had, the Generation X. Well, I'm the baby boomers, but the Generation X, and then you had the millennials, and Generation Y is with us now, and then Generation Z is coming up now. I mean, this is the first year in which we have people come into the university who are not born in the 20th century. I mean, at all. So something like 9/11 for many kids is going to be ancient history. Right. I mean, something they never experienced or know about.
Right.
But now we also come from a world that is biblically literate. Public schools do not teach that. They even purposely try to distance themselves from that. They come with a worldview that is formed from your culture, primarily, mainly from video games and television or whatever, movies, wherever you get, peers, and it's pretty mixed up. And we here have a biblical worldview. And one of the first courses every student takes is biblical worldview. To help them understand the various worldviews that exist out there, how this one differs, and the significance it brings, to orient yourself into a relationship with the living God who made all these things. Because if you're part of that creation, you're really not right until you're rightly related to the one who made it and sustains it. And then to think you could actually know that one personally and be guided by him is an amazing thing. And so then you begin to look at all of your sciences and subjects and arts and everything through the lens of that biblical worldview. And now, being a law enforcement officer is important because God made you to serve and defend and protect, or the arts because God is a designer and these creative things. You feel energized by knowing that you have the God who made all things has given you the gifts and skills to do this, and music and all these things. And in my area, just to dig deeper into the understanding of the background of this through archaeology and sciences, here we try not to steal faith, but to instill faith.
Right.
And I think the statistics are something like more than 80% of kids who are raised even in a homeschool, Christian school, good church, lose their faith when they come to college because it's never been their faith. It's been the family's faith, the parents' faith, the church's faith. They've never themselves come to the place where they've had to grapple with these issues, come to a firm decision for themselves. Tradition won't do it. You've got to have truth. And so they come to a college, and if you don't give them that, in fact, if you hide that or, shall we say, rail against that, as many universities do, feeling like we got to keep church and state and everything separate, and, worst thing on earth is to be religious. Well, in a sense, I think religious is a problem. I'd rather have a relationship than be a religious person. But
what is that distinction?
Well, a religion is my attempt to try to please God, to find out who He is, and in some way find out what He wants, and to hopefully do something that'll help me in relationship with that one. A relationship is where God took the first step, and he came to me. He revealed himself, and he said, I love you. And I responded to that love and to that invitation, and as a result, a relationship is formed. And I find there's really nothing I can do to please him or to gain his approval. That's all done. He did that.
Right.
And so I live in a relationship that is already secure and confident. I simply grow in that relationship.
That's
and
a great
faith.
distinction. I've not heard anybody make that distinction, but I think it's a very important one.
But, as we have about 15,000 students here at Liberty, as many come with no faith at all. And the parents want them to come here because it was a safe environment, conservative environment, whatever it might be. And they're challenged concerning faith. Some may never believe, some struggle to believe, but many do believe. And we have a lot of students who come to faith in their first, second years, and then it just is a life-changing thing. Now, looking at all of life and the choices ahead of them from a biblical worldview, it's not, where can I make the most money, or, what job is, the job of the future, or, what's going to get me. It's not me anymore.
Right.
It's what does God want from my life? And God gives his best to those who leave the choice with him. Right. And they've learned to do that. And so we have many students who, whether they're in our medical school, in our law school, whatever they see themselves as servants, and they go into that profession to try to help, to serve, to better others rather than themselves. And in the process, of course, they help themselves too.
Sure.
But that's what it's about.
That's fascinating journey you just took us on. And, so with maybe just a little final word, so what do you see for the future of Christianity?
Christianity has a lot of challenges, basically from within. The problem of a cultural shift in which very few things are believable. We have people who want to believe. We have people who need to believe, but they don't know what to believe. And they have to find people who are believable. And unfortunately, we are running churches like a business rather than demonstrating real love and concern and sacrifice for others, and not as believable as it used to be. And people are looking for that. They're fleeing from the traditional churches because they're not finding that there.
Right.
And I think that we have to change our image, our brand, in one sense, to be what we were called to be. As we do that, as we conform more to Christ and who he is, and we reach out. I mean, it's not about being comfortable making it our own. No, it really is about we're no longer our own. We've been bought with a price, and we're to glorify God with our bodies and all that we are. When you start making those kind of choices, that's contagious.
Yeah.
People see that and say, I don't know, nothing else has worked for me. I'm frustrated. I've got everything, but I don't have that. How do you get that? And so, let's put it this way: people who are genuine, who are believable, then they can lead someone to real faith.
Yeah. That's it for this particular interview. Thanks for joining me. Really excited to take this ongoing journey with you as we keep bringing more content. If you haven't already, you really should subscribe to this channel. There's a lot of phenomenal content coming down the road into the future that you'll want to know about. Leave a comment down here. I think people would love to hear from you, and then you can hear from them too. If you liked it, go ahead and give a like. It only takes half a second, and share this with people that you care about. The world needs more light in it right now. So thanks for being with me. Hope to connect with you again soon.